I have a question regarding this internalization. How did you call this, the full term?
Customer Insight
Okay,
Utilization Rate.
sorry. So regarding this correlation, is this something you're hearing from the customers, or this is something that you've seen running the analysis?
It's both. So I think we've actually seen, like in the beginning, the way we were trying to measure it was simply looking at speaking to customers and understand what sort of impact it's had, right? Because we didn't have a mechanism necessarily to measure it. We've changed that slightly now because now we look at the way that insights have been ingested and used, right? So we track that. And then we've had suggestions from different customers that have said, hey, by the way, like we've seen this uptick because we used this piece of copy based on that information, which is now increased in lead flow this week, right? And it's something that, of course, over time, you start to see how much it attributes to some of the insights being used. So for us, we try and advise customers to actually think of it in that way. So if you plug in today, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see an increase in your win rate, right? But if you start getting into a habit and a behavior of utilizing the insights fed to you and action it, and that's the key here, right, is to action it, not just have data, right? What's the point? Then you can better understand and measure, how your audience, your buyers are interacting with your sales team, with your marketing content, with your product. It has a big impact.
Yeah, the way I'm thinking about it is like, we do forecast meetings on a weekly basis and we talk about all the metrics and everything. Then there's also a whole section of that. Half the meeting is we dig into the insights and we have someone who's like going through them and making recommendations on what we need to do next, right? So it almost becomes like you have the quant aspect and the qualitative. And how do you make that qualitative aspect a bigger part of the business and how you operate versus we look at the numbers and we make guesses about why it's happening? You talked a little bit about like how you're working with companies that don't have a lot of data.